Hello once again, Philadelphia Phillies fans. Back with another bonus episode, and by bonus episode I mean where we've played into the future to see how the Phillies do without me as their GM. So in the last episode I was in 2036, and I showed you some of the things that I found interesting about where the sim was at and asked for your questions about what you wanted to see in terms of where the sim was at, where the Phillies were at, different players. And in that, Ty asked, he wanted to see if Manny, Bryce, Gieske, and some other guys who were part of my franchise, if they made the Hall of Fame. And I hadn't played far enough ahead yet at that point, so I went ahead and simmed up to 2041 so we could look at some of that. So more things have happened, but also all the other questions are still relevant. And if anybody's coming in cold to this, basically what this is I did an Out of the Park 22 sim with the Phillies. It was about 45 episodes. I played through 2031, and now I've simmed 10 years ahead to see how the league goes without me having control of any team. So let's get to the Hall of Fame first. Ty wanted to know specifically about Manny, Bryce, and Gieske. Gieske is actually still playing in 2041, but Phillies getting in here. 2039, Nola got in. 2040, Bryce. 2041, Manny. You can see Trout got in, Arenado. Nobody got in 2037. And then Freeman, Chapman, Altuve, Cano. No like crazy names here. You're like, oh, how did that guy become a Hall of Famer? I mean, I guess Cano obviously isn't making it in real life. But yeah, so Manny made it, Bryce made it, Nola made it. And we'll get into some of the other guys. You can see Trevor Rogers, who was asked about, I believe Legendary Kelso asked about him. We'll get him to more often, but he was first year eligible this year in 2041. He got 43.1% of the vote. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I often don't pay enough attention to the Hall of Fame voting to know if a guy who comes in and out of the park with this level of voting his first year, if he's going to make it. I'm sure some of you will. You can see Nola was 67%, 62%, and then got to 76. Looks like in his third year. But Bryce and Manny both in their first year of eligibility, so that's good to see. Ty also wanted to see what was going on with Gieske, who I think is pretty much a lock for the Hall of Fame, but he's 38 and he's still playing. He's in the with the Cardinals, but 101 WAR. He's almost to 500 home runs. He's over 2,000 hits. He's won 3 MVP awards. I don't know, 11 or so All-Star games. He won Rookie of the Year. He won like 8. He's won like 8 Silver Sluggers. So yeah, he's going to the Hall of Fame, but he's still playing, so certainly not eligible yet. Max asked me to look at Wander Franco's career, which is just simply bonkers good. He's still playing. He's with the Yankees. He's 40 years old. I will say, and I'm going to do a video soon about kind of the game settings I used in this sim and how it's kind of got me thinking about what to use in Out of the Park 23. So one thing I did was I turned down the aging speed to 0.8, so players age slower. And there are too many older players still playing well, like Wander Franco at age 40, putting up 9.5 WAR. And there are also just multiple players over 40 still in the league. So as I go through this, bear in mind that I did play with the aging speed down a bit. But Wander has won 9 MVPs. God knows how many. I mean, I guess I could have. You can, in the Out of the Park menu, you can do this so that these are all collapsed and it'll tell you the number. I haven't set the game up like that. But I mean, just an obscene amount of hardware. And then you go to his stats. I mean, look at how many how many seasons he led the league in WAR. I mean, he led it in WRC plus, hits, never led in home runs. Runs a couple times. I mean, his career slash on is 333, 409, 556. He's got a 158 WRC plus, 165.8 WAR, which we'll get to that in a minute. Tampa, he played with through age 32. Then he went to the Dodgers, and then he went to the Yankees. So I guess basically the teams that could afford him in free agency is who he's gone to, and he's still got, another year? Yeah, another year with the Yanks. And in that year, he's probably going to become the all-time leader in WAR. So he's got 165.8 career WAR. And if you go to the league history and the career records, you can see, and of course this is according to Out of the Park. Sometimes it's not exactly on with Fangraphs or Baseball Reference WAR, but according to Out of the Park, Ty Cobb has 165.83 WAR. So he must be below 0.83, maybe at 0.801 or 2. But he's essentially tied with Cobb for all time in career WAR. So that's pretty amazing, pretty awesome. And he'll break that record next year as long as he plays. So Max, I'm sure that probably is a good update, a pretty interesting update in terms of what you wanted for Wander. So let me just show you where he ranks. Let me go to career, retired, and active players. We're gonna go to all batters, and let's go WAR. So you can see here he passed Ruth. He's basically right on Cobb in pretty similar amount of plate appearances in games. Hits, he is third all time. Vlad Jr. made it to third all time in hits. Is he still playing? He is still playing at the age of 42. So maybe I don't know that he's. I mean, he had 167 hits at the age of 42, which is just absurd. He's a free agent though, so I don't know. I mean, he could make a run at Pete Rose if he plays another season. He's got a chance at it. Home run wise, Acuna made it to 749, and he's now retired. And so he made a run at Bonds and Aaron, but didn't quite get there. And so but Wander obviously was not a home run guy. I think, what was the other thing that he was? Did he score a lot of runs? Yeah, there he is. So he's 3, 4, 5, 6 all time in runs. Acuna and Vlad are both there. So yeah, pretty decent career from Wander. I'd say that that was a solid career for him, a good outcome. And of course, some of that is because of the aging speed that I've turned on. But I don't think would be, obviously you'd always bet against somebody being one of the best players ever because it only happens to a few players. But certainly it wouldn't be a completely absurd outcome if Wander Franco at the end of his career is one of the best players ever. Certainly that's within the realm of realistic outcomes for him as a major league player in real life. All right, so next, Steven wanted to know about the Diamondbacks World Series roster. This was back when I was in 2035, I think, and he asked about it. So I'm going to go back and look at that team. Let me just make sure that I have the right year. Was it 20? Yeah, so the 2035 Diamondbacks, and they were on a good run at that time. I think they knocked the Phillies out. Yeah, they made the postseason 4 years in a row, 5 out of 6, and also won the World Series one year. They won over 100 games 5 out of 6 years too, and then just completely fell off. Sip of tea there. So it would be interesting to dig into that to see why they fell off. I'm not going to do that right now though. So in terms of who was on their team, in 2035, most of the guys are not real players at this point. Their third baseman, Polanco, who became their third baseman in 2028 and is still their third baseman, he is a real-life dude. So he is an international free agent signed by the Diamondbacks in 2019. I don't know him, but I don't know. I mean, for all I know, he could be a really good prospect for them. I don't know much about the Diamondbacks system off the top of my head. But he's a real-life dude who was there for that. Also, so Corbin Carroll was there as well. Corbin Carroll is the Diamondbacks' real-life first-round pick in 2019, and he was there, but I think he must have been hurt because then he played in 65 games, and he was still a really good player. So, he's got a bunch of injuries all over the place. So he was there as well. I believe those are the only real-life MLB players, batters who are on their team. Pitching-wise, it might have been the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same story here. This was their number one starter, Silverio Espinosa. He was a 14th round pick in 2025 and has gone to 2 All-Star games. He's led the league in innings pitched 3 different years, led an ERA 1 year, so he's worked out okay, I'd say, for a 14th round pick. But yeah, really and this is not Zach Britton. This is Jimmy Britton, of course, who was a 2025 round 12 draft pick of the Twins. And this guy, where'd he go? Where'd my 2030? There he is. Hadnot. That's just a good last name. Jaden Hadnot, who was a pick of the Diamondbacks in 2027. So yeah, so the rest of the guys are all, as far as I know, fictional players. Some of them might be players who are in college right now. in real life. But yeah, no other real life MLB players. Let me know if you have other questions about that, Steven. I figured maybe you just wanted to know the real life players. So that's what I went with. So legendary Kelso. Want to know about our guy Trevor Rogers. And as we saw, he was on the Hall of Fame ballot. He got 43.1% of the vote, but he had a major elbow injury in 2032, the first year that I was not at the helm anymore. I had surgery, removed bone chips. He was out 5 to 6 months, and he was just never the same pitcher. He'd put up 1.6 WAR in 90 innings, and then he became a free agent. He went to the Dodgers, and as you can see, he just never really did anything again. And then he retired after those 3 kind of mediocre seasons, dealing with more injuries. So a great career, but he pitched really well through age 33 and then ran into injury. But he had 49.8 WAR, 50.4 R WAR, 3.78 ERA, which is good for a 117 ERA plus, a 3.77 FIP, which is good for an 85 FIP minus. He struck out over 2,500 batters. Good strikeout to walk percentage. So just a really, really good career. He never won a Cy Young, even though he led the league in WAR 2 different years, led the league in ERA 1 year, led the league in FIP minus. So he made 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 All-Star teams, and never won a Cy Young. I think that's in the history. Can't you see like where they finished or something? I think you can. Somewhere here. I'm sure you guys will let me know that I'm missing it, because it's somewhere, yeah. Here are all his leaderboards things. Maybe you can't see the Cy Young, but you can see where he's on the leaderboards. I mean, he was just all over the leaderboards, and surprising that he never won a Cy Young, but maybe he'll make the Hall of Fame. So Hayden wanted to know about Aaron Judge and the Yankees, and that is coming right up. Aaron Judge had a lackluster career. So here's where we started. I mean, he had a couple decent seasons. I mean, I guess I shouldn't call it lackluster. His WRC plus was pretty solid. He was just not a superstar, really, after when the Sims started. I mean, 2021 he was good, but then he was never really like the current day real life Judge we know again. He was a solid player who looks like he had some injury issues as well, and then really fell off in his mid-30s. He retired in 2028. In 2034, he got 1.5% of the vote for the Hall of Fame, and then fell off the ballot. 318 home runs, 1,223 RBI. But Hayden also wanted to know about the Yankees, and they're, they are on quite a run right now. Quite a run. So the Yankees, let's get to here we go, this page. So the Yankees did not make the postseason from 2022 to 2030. And now they've made it 11 straight times with 4 World Series championships. And I think they've lost in the World Series like 3 times in that span as well. So the evil empire is alive and well. I can show you let me show you the league history. So yeah, the Yankees won it in 31, 34, 39, and 41. But then they went to the World Series also in 32, 33, and 36. So they went 4 straight years and 5 out of 6 and won it 2 of those years. And now they're back winning again. You can see the Phillies made the World Series in 2041, first time back since I'd been at the helm of their franchise. So 2032 they made it the first year without me, and then 33 they made it, and then 34 they missed, 35 they were back, and then they kind of went cold. They missed 4 straight seasons, and now they've been back. But really, their win totals have not been what they were during our dynasty. So I also wanted to show you, I thought that this was interesting on the Phillies page, just to give it one last look of the record book for the career leaders. Not registers. That's not what we want. We want this here for the batters. So you can see Vlad Jr.'s up here in batting average for career Phillies in a little over 2,600 plate appearances. Vlad Jr. up here in on-base percentage. Nate Culbertson, our man, who is a longtime first baseman for me, he's still up there. Slugging percentage, Vlad leads all Phillies in the history of the franchise. Cornelius Randolph was third. I think Bryce was up there, but he must have gotten bumped off maybe by Vlad. I don't know. Jesus Ramirez. This is a guy that I signed as an international free agent, so he's worked out fairly well for them. Oh wow, yeah, look at him go. And OPS, we've got Vlad and WAR. Do we have any of our guys? Juan Soto, 8th in WAR. So Soto retired at the age of 40. He stayed in Philly the whole time, put up 79.1 WAR. I think Bryce and Manny, I thought they were up there, but I guess not, or maybe I'm just not remembering right. Games played, Bryce Harper 4th, Juan Soto 7th. My guy, Mike Anthony Valdez 8th. This was a guy that I traded for when he was one of the top prospects in baseball. He never really turned into a superstar, but he stuck around long enough and had some really good seasons. Didn't have too many terrible seasons, so he stuck around for a while and made his way onto several Phillies leaderboards. He's there in games. He's 10th in at-bats. Bryce is 7th. Soto is 9th. Runs, we've got Soto 4th, Harper 6th, Valdez 8th. Hits, Willie Adames, 7th place. Impressive with 1753. Total bases, we've got Bryce, Adames, Soto all there. Blah, blah, blah. Doubles, Harper 10th, Adames 4th. Wow. Let's see. Home runs. Home runs, we've got Soto 3rd, Mike Anthony Valdez tied for 3rd with Soto, then Harper, Machado, Randolph round out the top 7. So that's pretty awesome. RBI, Adames, Valdez, Harper, Soto. Wow, man, Adames with tons of RBI. I mean, he only had like 300 more plate appearances than Bryce. You wouldn't think that Adames would be able to keep pace in RBI. I mean, he never really. I mean, his 162 game average is only 72. He's just here forever. He was here from age 26 through age 39. So he just played with them forever and racked up a bunch of stats. So strikeouts first Valdez, then Adames. So that's the hitters. I'll show you the pitchers real quick. It's mainly the Aaron Nola show with some Trevor Rogers sprinkled in. Wins, Jalen Miller. Like, it's not, for a modern day pitcher to be up here in wins on the all-time list. This is a guy that I traded for back in 2029, and he ended up on the all-time wins list. Of course, Nola's there. Winning percentage is all a bunch of guys who I had: Sheffield, Barrios, Mott, Nola, Rogers. Saves, Andy Shearing, who is a guy that I brought in, is the all-time Philly saves leader by a long shot. WAR, we've got Nola 4th. We've got Trevor Rogers 10th at 26.3 WAR. Games pitched, Mason Fox, he was with us for a while. Nola 8th, Jalen Miller 7th. Jalen Miller's, I think, been both a starter and a reliever. Yeah, he looks like he was a starter for a while and then has been more of a reliever later in his career. Games started, Jalen Miller's there. Carter Daniels, who was a guy who I drafted in the 14th round of 2021, he's there. This was a guy that was fun to watch climb the system. He was just a solid major league starter for many seasons. Nola was 3rd in games started. Trevor Rogers did not make that. I don't think anybody's going to be there. How about innings pitched? We got Nola at 4th. Let's go down to some more fun things. Strikeouts, Nola's 2nd. Trevor Rogers is 10th. Strikeouts per 9 career. Rogers 3rd. Mott 2nd. Wow. That was a guy that I traded for. WAR, did anybody? Our WAR? You've got Nola 4th. And that's all for our WAR, right? I'm not missing anybody. So, yeah. So I wanted to go down that real quick. I always like looking at these leaderboards. So that's the gist. That's the Phillies. I think that this probably is the last episode of the Phillies sim. I mean, technically this is just kind of a fun bonus episode, and we've already wrapped the series, or the seasons of me playing. But I think that's the end of this. I will have more stuff coming, of course. Maybe I'll revisit this, but I don't think so. Probably not. But I'll have more stuff coming, including I'm going to look at like the settings that I used and talk about that, and do some other fun non-Philly stuff. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys in the next video.